another friendly match for Iran, and once again, Happy Nowruz. On today's episode, we will recap Iran's friendly match with Kenya. We've got highlights and analysis for you as well. You know the deal, and you know what time it is. It's time for Team Melli Talk. How would things go this time for Amir Ghalenoui? Hi everyone, welcome back to Team Melli Talk. We know what you want, so let's get right to Iran's starting lineup against Kenya. And who would get the starting goal? This time it would be Payam Niazmand of Sepahan. Now for the back line, Ehsan Hajsafi, Armin Sohrabian, Hossein Kanani, Sadegh Moharrami. Now for the midfielders, Ruzbeh Cheshmi, Mohammad Karimi, Ali Reza Jahanbash. And for the forwards, Mohammad Mohebi, Mehdi Taremi, and Shahryar Moganlu. How would Team Melli do against Kenya? Let's check out the first half highlights.
اونها در رقابت ملت آفریقا یه فرصت دیگه برای محرمی، دفع توپ، مغانلو رو پای چپ میزنه توپو به بیرون میره، ارتباط رو قطع میکنه سهرابیان، اما در ادامه راحت توپو داد به بازیکن کنیا. حالا پشت محوطه جریمه خطر روی دروازه ما، یه ضربه با پای چپ که دقت از جمله لژیونه های فوتبال کنیا در حین که بلژیک بازی میکنه. یه حرکت رو به جلو خطرناک بود، حرکت خطرناک بازیکن کنیا رو و محدود بازیکن کنیا برتری دارند. توپ رو گرفت، محبی میتونه شوت بزنه، میزنه در بین راه به مدافعین. فرصت از دست رفت در این لحظه و حالا در ادامه یک بار دیگه شوت زنی بچه‌ها. جهانبخش میتونه همونجا یه پاس به جلو بکنه، این کارو انجام میده در دو مرحله. ماتاسی تیم کنیا تحت تاثیر بازی و جو ورزشگاه بود، اما هر چقدر گذشت خودشون رو پیدا کردند و موقعیت‌های نصف و نیمه مثل این خلق کردند.
0-0 at the half. Not a particularly exciting match, but now it's time for the second half highlights.
باز هم برای اولونگا، یه حرکت تکنیکی از اولونگا، اعتقاد داره اونجا به روی اون خطا انجام شده مدافع ما. اولونگا میزنه و دروازه رو باز میکنه. سهرابیان نباید تحت تاثیر این حرکت قرار میگرفت، به امید سوت داور ایستاد و این خیلی خوب ضربه رو زد. یه تنه داره باز در رفت و برگشت. باز هم یه بازیکن کنیا روی زمین، آفساید نیست. محبی نیم‌ایست شدن تماشاگرها. محبی حرکت میکنه، دور میزنه، منتظر حرکت دیگه میمونه از هم تیمیاش، میفرسته کوتاه و رضاییان رو دستش قرار میگیره. محبی یه پاس به عقب، یه فرصت عالی. رامین رضاییان مستقیم میزنه، داور نقطه کرنر رو نشون میده. کوتاه حالا برای ترابی، برای ارسال مهیا میکنه خودش رو تو با اختلاف کم از کنار دروازه، خودش رو روی زمین میندازه. نورافکن رو میبینه، رو پا راستش میاره، دوباره شک میگیره دفاع کنیا. حالا رامین رضاییان میتونن استفاده ببرن. دونده های توی ماراتون شماره یکی داشته که پرآوازه بودند. اینجا فرصت برای بچهای ما. شهریار مغانلو این چرخه و تیمی که داره خودش رو آماده میکنه، یک دگرگونی اساسی و عرض کردم ما باید به گل میرسیدیم و سکوها رو اینطور غرق در شادی میکنه. گل مساوی رو زدیم در یک بازی که واقعا برتری داشتیم. ما هر چقدر از زمان بازی گذشت چند موقعیت خلق کردیم و این گونه خوب زد. ارسالم که دیگه اصلا نقصی نداشت. این پاس به جلوها و این ارسالها تخصص رضاییان بلند، خروج نصف و نیمه دروازه‌بان، روی زمین حرکت رضاییان با پای چپ، اشتباه و توی دروازه. گل دوم برتری داشتیم، حقمون بود و به حقمون هم رسیدیم. اشتباه ماتاسی اینجوری ما رو خوشحال میکنه و پرچم‌های کشورمون پایانی فراموش نشدنی باشه با قهرمانی در آسیا. ساکاری یه اشتباه میرفت گل دوم رو. به نظر بله سوت پایان این بازی.
Now for this segment of the show, I am joined by my good friend Arash Ostovari. Arash, welcome back to Team LA Talk. Great to have you on the show again, and Eid Shoma Mubarak to you.
Hi, bro. Eid Shoma Mubarak, and I wish you all the best in this year. Thanks for having me again.
What are your thoughts about this game? Yes, Iran did defeat Kenya 2-1, but I really want to hear your initial thoughts about the game against Kenya.
So before we talk about the game, I'm not really sure how can a game versus Kenya can be useful for Team Melli at any stage, because this team also didn't play for a long time, the Kenya national team, and I'm sure there's an explanation after it, but anyway, talk about the game. I didn't really see much on the first half from both sides, and probably Iran was doing just a little bit better than Kenya in the first half, but it was not a big deal from both sides, the performance and everything. Second half got a bit better, but still not a game that I expect to see from Team Melli. I'm not gonna blame Amir Ghalnawi for anything yet, because it wasn't a time. We have to give him time to see like what he has, and he keeps saying that he's coming with a new philosophy in Team Melli, and he wants the Team Melli to play a whole new philosophy. But he has mentioned that a couple of times before the game, after the game, before the previous game, and he said his philosophy is a majority an offensive game, and he don't want to play any defensive shape, and he want to play very open. So he's looking for a whole new Team Melli style of playing.
Okay, well, you said something that makes me say, where I'm thinking for a moment, should I take back this question? But I have no choice really but to ask it. But it's kind of like think of it as a two-part question. So first, what is your opinion of Amir Ghalnawi? And do you see any difference from Amir Ghalnawi now compared to the Amir Ghalnawi who coached Iran from 2006 to 2007?
I don't really see a difference. First, I'm not agree with Amir Ghalnawi at any stage, and I was shocked when he was announced as a national team head coach, and I was a bit offended by the way he treated media as well. Well, in his presentation, when someone from media wanted to talk to him, and was saying directly to him that at least in the past 10 years after his last Champion Cup with Istiqlal, he didn't have anything like any notable achievement in the league. So even if we are going after an Iranian head coach, it should be probably with recent achievements. Like you can't hire a coach based on like his past 10 years achievements, and he literally didn't let the person to speak, and he can't stand anyone against him. Even in a media, you don't expect that from a coach in this level. As a head coach of national team, he has to hear people, and I was a little bit offended by that, and I was also shocked when they chose him. I'm not really agree with this option for Team Melli. I kind of feel they choose Amir Ghalnawi because no one else was available.
It's a very interesting take on what you just said, and I'm sure there's plenty of Iranian football experts that are definitely paying attention as well to what you just said. And from based on what, and also, I feel like I keep repeating myself right now, but the information you just shared with us, I really feel as if you made it official that Amir Ghalnawi doesn't come off as a very reasonable person. Of course, I'm not an expert on his characteristics of his personality, but I don't really want to be spending too much time on that. But let's talk now. Let's talk positions. Of course, we talked about this game. Let's remember how things went. Iran fell behind 1-0 And right away, of course, a lot of Team LA fans probably were not in a very good mood, but they came back to win. There was a goal scored, a header off a free kick, Mohamed Mohebi, and then the goal from Ramin Rezaian. Of course, we can attribute that a lot to a mistake from the goalkeeper for Kenya. That's pretty much what I would say. When looking back at those goals. But let's focus right now on the right back position. Is there a controversy right now at the right back position? And if so, who is your choice though for right back? Sadek Moharami or Ramin Rezaian?
No, I was always more on Ramin Rezaian, and I think he showed that today as well. That he can be a defender while he can be very creative. That's wonderful. That's all you want from a right back. You want a defender who can defend well, and he can be creative for the team. And Ramin Rezaian did that very well. On the first goal, he crossed a ball like it was perfect. Even on the second goal, it was goalkeeper mistake, but the way that he find himself in a position to cross that ball and everything, I think he showed a very good class for that position.
Let's stick to the topic of Ramin Rezaian. I have no choice but to bring this up. But let me also say, though, that I am a huge fan of Ramin Rezaian. I also like Sadek Moharami. But when we look back at what Ramin Rezaian did at the 2022 World Cup, he's forever in, Team Melli folklore. He scored that goal against Wales. How can we forget? Anyone who scores a goal in the World Cup for Iran is always going to be viewed as a hero. That's for sure. But, he's 33 years old. So are you in agreement with me, though, that let's just say he has one more tournament left in him? Will that be the next Asian Cup, and then it's officially time to say bye to Ramin Rezaian from Team Melli?
Yeah, it could be the next Asian Cup, but for me, as long as he is doing his best performance, doesn't matter how old he is, as long as there is no one to compete in his level at this position, he should play.
Sadek Moharami plays for Dinamo Zagreb. He's playing in Europe. From his point of view, do you kind of imagine if you were to put yourself in the shoes of Moharami? Do you really realize that do you really understand his frustration? He plays in Europe, but now he's losing playing time. How do you explain that?
Yeah, this kind of frustration is part of football, and every player is familiar with them. Sometimes you might be even a better player at many people point of view, but the head coach decides someone else to play, and as a professional you should deal with that. That's pretty normal.
Next, I want to talk about the two players that made their debut for Iran against Kenya, Armin Sohrabian and Mohamed Karimi. Okay, now normally I'd be asking the question, which player is Team Melli material and which player should never be invited to Team Melli ever again? But I have no choice but to answer this right away first, and that is Armin Sohrabian was horrible today against Kenya. I am right away saying I don't care about giving him a second chance. Do not invite him again. But what is your opinion of Mohamed Karimi?
Mohamed Karimi was, of course, played better than Sohrabian. I'm going to get back to Sohrabian again, but I don't yet see him in Team Melli material. But I'm not against of giving chance to new players and trying new players in this kind of friendly matches. But there is something about this game. I'm going to point at two players. Today, Sohrabian and Cheshmi, in my opinion, Ruzbe Cheshmi. I think they were not horrible, they were awful. And it's very interesting for me as someone who played football that a player can be in this level. A player can be in this level for years and yet don't know the basic positioning of football. That's really interesting to me. How is this possible? Armin Sohrabian still don't know the basic positioning of football, and Ruzbe Cheshmi as well. They don't know their place in the game, in a field. That's interesting. I honestly, as I said, I'm not against trying new players, but I don't see them Team Belly material. Some people might get mad at me because Rusbek Cheshmi has scored in World Cup, understand, but he just scored that one.
Well, ever since Rusbek Cheshmi scored that goal against Wales, I made a promise saying that I would never disrespect him again. But you pointed out something. You said he didn't do very well today. You actually used the word awful. From my point of view, yeah, there were some times he did not look very good, especially when it comes to controlling the ball. Sometimes we see the midfielders just kicking the ball, not bringing it down to the ground, not having the best control. I know Cheshmi was guilty of that a little bit today. But for me, I just say that when I look at Sohrabian, it was not even a comparison, how bad he was compared to Rusbek Cheshmi. So that's basically that's of course is my take. Obviously, I don't want to keep on spending too much time on this. But let's talk about some other players. I want to talk about Shahryar Moganlu. He made his debut in the game against Russia. But in this game against Kenya, he once again got a lot of minutes. He was subbed off very late, and his finishing skills have just not been good. I really don't see, in my opinion, I don't see what he brings to the team. I know there are other options at that position. What is your opinion of Shahryar Moganlu?
Well, Shahryar Moganlu is a good player, but just in the league. I don't see him as well as a Team Belly material player. And he's the type of striker that they have to create for him. And he can't create for himself, like Taremi or Azamoun, which they might lose chances as well, but they will create for themselves as well. But Shahryar will stand till they'll create a chance for him. And I just don't see him Team Belly material, especially while we have a lot of option in this position. So that's about Shahryar Moganlu. But another player that I think not just in this game, in the previous game against Russia, he really he was really good. Was Mohebi, which I didn't really expect him to play this good, especially in these two matches. I think that he's finding himself a place in Team Melli, and that's really good.
I'll be quick to say that I have always been a fan of Mohamed Mohebi as well. And you mentioned that you think he's finding himself, and he did. Obviously, he played well. He got that first goal. He got the tying goal against Kenya. Very nice header when he connected on that free kick from Ramin Rezaian. But there was also a moment in that game where he got the ball on a good run. It was a good opportunity, and instead of crossing it with his left foot for what probably would have been a good goal scoring opportunity, he brought it back and turned around. And I think that was a good example of, like you said, he's finding himself. That was a good example of I think when he'll watch that replay, he's going to realize, okay, that was something he should not have done. But I don't think it's something that should cost him, it's not going to be something that causes him from not being called up. I think he will continue to be called up. And especially, I'm pretty sure, Amir Galanoui likes what he brings to the team.
Yeah, he did well. He had some mistakes, mostly come from lack of international matches experience, which I'm not going to really consider that. I can see that he has the potential to be part of our first 11, and he is really finding himself game by game. So I'm sure Mohamed Mohebi, in probably a year or so, he will become a whole different player.
One last question. Who was your man of the match?
I believe Mohamed Mohebi and Ramin Rezaian.
Okay, so you had two players for your man of the match. So you had your two men of the match. I like that. Mohamed Mohebi, Ramin Rezaian. For me, if I got to pick one, it's Ramin Rezaian. I just feel like once he came on, he just brought so much more excitement to the match. Of course, an assist and a goal. Perfect day for Ramin Rezaian.
And Arash, I just want to thank you for taking the time to appear on Team Melli Talk. It really was a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me, and happy Nowruz to everyone who celebrate this.
Now, to finish off this edition of Team Melli Talk, I just want to say that even though Iran had a 2-1 come from behind victory, I understand that a lot of Team Melli fans are not very excited at this moment. Once again, Iran's midfield was basically non-existent. Lots of long balls, no clear tactics. What was the strategy from this game? And I have a few questions right now. Where was Amin Hasbavi? Where was Reza Shakari? And where was Muhammad Hossein Islami? Amir Galanoui could have given these younger players a chance to play. And of course, let's just remember this. It was just a friendly match against Kenya. It was not a World Cup qualifier. And I was really expecting Amir Galanoui to do some experimenting with this lineup in this match against Kenya. Well, looks like I was wrong. From my point of view, Amir Galanoui has not changed at all. When he was coach of Iran from 2006 to 2007, he did not resemble a coach that wanted to help build Team Melli for the future. Instead, he looked like a coach who had something to prove. It was as if he wanted to prove that he was better than Branko Ivankovic. I could basically picture Amir Galanoui saying things like, I'm going to use a lot of the players that you used, I'm going to bring along some of mine, and my Team Melli is going to be better. This time, I think Amir Galanoui wants to prove that he's better than Carlos Queiroz. Now, I know some Iranian football fans might be thinking that I'm getting carried away, but I really don't think I am. Let's compare Branko Ivankovic and Carlos Queiroz for a moment. They both had something in common, and this involved recruiting European footballers with dual Iranian citizenship to play for Team Melli. Branko Ivankovic got Freydun Zandi to play for Team Melli, and Carlos Queiroz recruited Ashkan Dejagah, Reza Guchanejad, Omi Nazari, and Saman Godus. I have heard Iranian football fans talk about European footballers of Iranian descent who would be a great addition to the national team of Iran. Well, I have news for those Iranian football fans. Amir Galanoui is not the kind of coach who will recruit these footballers.